Hey everybody, welcome to the call today. This is Scott Pierce at Listings to Leads, and we're going to be covering Geo Farming and circle prospecting in really one of the fastest ways to get listings. So listings to leads, when you log in, so when I log in, I'm going to be on the dashboard here. You'll see your suggested ads if you haven't logged in a little while. That's somewhat new, but I'm going to click over to success stories. And if you've been on a couple of these calls, this will look a little bit familiar. So I just like to show this because this same thing has been going on for 7 years, 8 years. Dustin Fox, who wrote the book, and I've got it right here in my hands, 6 Weeks to Real Estate Success by Dustin Fox. This nearby homeowner letter is one of the things that he used to great success. He used it with open houses as well. But you can see here, Corey talking about how he used 13 listings. And he uses it for just listed and just sold. Now he mails it. So if you go to the mastermind group and you search Corey, there's a few different posts from him. He's got a printer in his office. I think he went in with 3 or 4 different people at his office. They bought a printer and he just sits there and he just does all the printing at his office. Bernadette here, she went door knocking with that letter. Elena, she was a selling agent on a pending listing. So her buyer went into contract. She heard about this letter, used it, got a listing. Now she did it differently. Dustin Fox uses a print service called Zaire Mail, which I'm going to give you in a minute. You saw Corey. I mentioned that he does printing at his office on a kind of a pretty good setup. Elena, she just did it by hand. So and some people, they actually will just hire like teenagers to do it, or they'll have their assistant do it, pay them after hours type of thing. It doesn't really matter how you do it. It's just, this is a phenomenal thing to do. I'm going to mention also, and you're going to see this in the mastermind group also, as part of the Geo Farming and circle prospecting, your yard sign matters. So I really want you, and I'll show you a perfect example of a yard sign a little bit later in this call, but I do want you to be thinking about the fact that your yard sign is an amazing way to capture leads in the farm. So if you've got a listing, obviously that's going to be a great opportunity, especially when the listing is pending. We'll talk about that specifically, how to ramp up that yard sign so that you're going to get even more seller leads from that pending listing. And if I go down here, let's just see if there's anything else. 3rd listing in the neighborhood, again, from Corey. Open house marketing to seller listing to getting a listing. And so this is actually perfect. I didn't even think of it this way. Using an open house, yours or borrowed, is the best way to get listings fast. And that is because when we do an open house, we're doing the open house marketing. There's a nearby homeowner letter for that open house listing, yours or borrowed. All right. And again, this is Dustin Fox. I'm going to show you exactly what he did a lot of different things, but I'm going to show you one of the things that he did very popular that he liked to do a lot, along with other things that top agents are doing with that letter to get listings. And so again, the thing I like about the open house is, and you'll see this in our open house mastery training, you can do things like a neighborhood preview where you can use that letter as an invitation for the neighbors to come by the neighbors only preview open house. You could even do it where maybe the neighbors preview is a half hour or 1 hour before the regular 2 to 4 Sunday open house. So maybe for the neighbors, it's 1 to 2. And then for the public, it's 2 to 4. But there's a lot of different opportunities to use that letter in a lot of different ways. So I just want to give you different ideas because there are good ways, there are great ways, and there are even better ways. And if you scroll, I highly recommend scroll down here, take a look at more of this stuff. There's a lot of great ideas here. And this isn't really meant for us to be bragging. It's really meant for you to get ideas of like, oh, wow, I didn't really think of doing it this way, or I didn't think of that. And so you can come in here to success stories, just scroll down, you'll see a bunch of different stuff in there. And maybe it'll give you some ideas. So in this case, we are referring to the nearby homeowner letter for a listing. Now we're going to cover this first, and then we're going to get into some other things that don't deal with listings at all. So let's go through this part first, because again, this is definitely the quickest way to get more listings. And so again, that's going to be an open house. So we're going to roll through that first. Then I'm going to walk through a just listed and a just sold, which will be super quick and easy because you'll have seen how it works for open house. And then we'll get into some things where it doesn't relate to a listing at all that I would recommend using, because let's say I use a nearby homeowner letter for either one of my listings or for an open house that I do for somebody else. You don't want to just send one or two things. You can continue with the third or fourth or fifth piece in that campaign, the direct mail campaign, to those homeowners with some of these other tools that I'll show you. So with that, again, I'm going to recommend try to find an open house, yours or borrowed, in a area that fits your buyer seller profile. And so in this case, I got this listing here, 15 Ambient Way. I'm going to click on the green market listing button. And again, maybe it's not even my listing. Now, if you got a listing at a different status, it could be just listed, coming soon, or active, or open house. I highly recommend using the letter once while the listing is for sale. Then, as you saw with Corey and others as well, Patty, what's her name? Patricia, I can't remember her name now. She likes to use it with pending and just sold. So you want to use it once while the listing is for sale, and then you'd like to use it again as a second time when the listing is either pending or sold, or even both. Because again, you know how it is in marketing and advertising, is that repetition of message. And when the homeowners around our listing or the homeowners around that open house get a couple of different messages relating to different statuses or different offers, you're going to get more conversion. So just follow along. It'll all make sense, I promise. So when you got the open house, we have all the great open house marketing tools, one of which is the nearby homeowner letter. There's 3 different versions. There's an editor you can download and you can send it. You can also click the green print to mail button here. I'm going to click on edit real quick first to show you that this letter is fully editable. The reason why it works so well, it relates to something near the homeowner that gets it, right? So it's a listing near them. When you send it, now the reason why I mentioned mailbox power and I got Zaire mail, so I got a couple of different things up here. So this is a mail provider. Mailbox power is another one. And the reason why I mention those, and I'll go back to them a little bit later, is when you send that nearby homeowner letter, you do not want to send it looking like it came from the utility company. You want to send it so it looks like it was sent personally, handwritten font, stamp on the envelope, so that people are going to open it. You will increase your open rate from about 20 to 25% to 75 to 80 or more. So you're going to get a 2 to 3x open rate increase when you make sure that that envelope that this letter is going out in looks like it was done personally. And that's where mailbox power, Zaire mail, there might be others that you know of, that phenomenal. But you just want to avoid sending this letter, if you're going to mail it, looking like it came from the water district. You get my point. So again, this letter here, so we're letting the neighbors know about the open house. Just want to let you know we're having an open house at 15 Ambient Way in Folsom on Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Now, again, this is in the editor, so I could put, and I'm going to give you some ideas of things that people do. So you could say, for example, from an open house. So I could say a neighbors only preview open house. And I can make that bold if I want. All right. So now when I give this to the neighbors, I can mention the fact that we're going to have a neighbors only preview. If I get a chance to talk to them, great. If I can do a mail or a door knock, and then I can also call the same homeowners, even better. All right. That's part of Geo Farm Circle prospecting. But even if you only do the letter, that works as well. So here I'm saying there's a neighbors only preview. And if you don't edit the letter, that's totally fine as well. I'm just giving you some ideas here because these are things that people do. Sometimes they'll say, well, we're having a catered open house. I'm not sure if I spelled catered right, but you get my point. So again, if you're following our open house mastery training, we talk about doing a light catering it could be mixed nuts and Martinelli apple cider to make a really nice impression so that people slow down, they spend time, you're able to talk to more people. We give you a lot of great scripts, a lot of great handouts to convert those open house people. So the idea of a catered open house works really well also. Once the letter is good to go, and again, you don't have to edit the letter at all. The letter works perfectly, and most people don't edit it. Once you're good to go, just click download. And you're going to see there's a JPEG format. So, for example, I think Mailbox Power, when you're going to mail through them, you upload a JPEG. And most other services, I believe it's going to be a PDF. So you got the option of both. And when I go to download it, you're going to see that those edits I made to the letter will be in the download version. Right. So there you can see we're going to have a catered open house. And now when people get this letter, they can either scan the QR code, right, to see all the information about that property right near them. They can also send a text. There's a little bit of information here about the market, right, that you can turn on or off. And then it invites them to get their home value here, but it's also the home value form is also at that QR code. So this letter, people save the letter. I've had agents tell me that they did the letter and got a call 2 months later, 3 months later, because the people saved the letter. Or people don't normally save a postcard or a door hanger, although door hangers do work better than postcards typically. But the letters get saved. It just goes on that stack of letters on the kitchen table or in somebody's office. And the letters just kind of sitting there. It looks pretty, right? It's got the house down the street from them right there at the top, right? It's a nice format. The letter itself looks great. So people tend to just, I've heard from agents all over the place that people just, right, they'll go to a listing appointment and that letter's just sitting there on the kitchen countertop or sitting somewhere in the house. So, but again, this letter is amazing. Now, if you're holding somebody else's listing open and you want to use this letter, then I would do the day before. So let's say I'm holding Connor's listing open this coming weekend. And, I'm not going to mail the letter if it's not my listing. But I would do is I would print 50 to 100 of them and I would door knock that neighborhood the day before the open house. And I would invite every single neighbor to come by my open house that I'm having tomorrow, or maybe later that day, or, today's Wednesday. So if I'm holding somebody else open houses on this coming Saturday or Sunday, go out Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. But the point is, get this letter in the hands of homeowners around that listing, yours or the one you're going to hold open for somebody else. Now, if you've got another listing that's coming soon, just listed or active, same letter, you're going to use it. You probably won't edit it at those statuses because there's really nothing going on. And again, that's why I love the open house, right? There's so many benefits of having an open house, especially with listings to leads. So you can laugh at all those other agents that tell you open houses are worthless, and you can clean up, because I'm telling you, between the buyer leads and the seller leads that you can get from an open house with listings to leads is better than anything else, right? Now, we've covered, so any questions about listings that are for sale using this letter? No, before we get into pending and sold and then to the other ideas, I do want to mention, one second, what is the text code and number? Yeah, so thank you for the question. Over here, text IVR, so in listings to leads, there's two different text services we offer. Text IVR, and let me open up in a new tab. And so if you're not signed up, you'll be able to sign up for it. I think it's like $10 a month. And what it does, it just gives you a text code. It stays in your account, so I can assign it, reassign it, unassign it to different listings as I get them. And that way I can get those yard signs created, right? Text 10004 to 25678 for photos, details, and more. So I can get those yard signs built. And I'll be showing you an example of that a little bit later. If you're in the mastermind group, you would have seen the post I did about Instagram stories using the images with those text codes on them as well. So does that answer your question, Nushin? Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Sometimes I just gloss over that and people are wondering, where do the text codes come from? So now here's the other thing. After the open house, You're going to see this in the open house guide. After the open house, this is a tip I got from an agent a while ago. Come back in here. Come back to that letter after the open house. Go to edit it and send a post open house letter to the same people that got the letter before the open house. Does that make sense for everybody? So even if you borrowed the listing and you door knocked, let's say a day or two before, do it again after the open house. And what you're going to do is something like this. I want to let you know that we had the open house at 59 on Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. and had 17 people come through that all love and then I'm just going to make it so it's not bold. I'm going to leave that first part. Actually, no, I'm going to leave. You get the idea, right? The idea is we are sending a post open house update to the neighbors because it gives us another reason, another ability to touch base with them. And I have that this works really well. And again, if you got the phone numbers, I would call them. Anytime we can mailing is great, but obviously if we can mail and call at the same time, or I should say to the same people, not at the same time, because you'd always call after they should have gotten it. So for example, if you're going to send to a list where you go out and you get a list of 200 homes around that listing, that's great to mail to. But if you're going to do that, think about getting that list scrubbed against the DNC so you get the phone numbers. I would recommend maybe not using a multi-line dialer. That's going to be illegal here in about a week, but use your phone. And I would just what you do is you call those people. And you're going to see here, circle prospecting script. Here's the script. You can use whatever script you want, but the idea is layering on a phone call with the letter, the postcard, the door hanger, whatever it is that you send out. So take this script and it really becomes just a did you get phone call. And you're going to let them know that when the home is sold, you're going to confirm the email address that you have. Because again, if you went and you got that list from MyPlus Leads or RedX or Vulcan 7, right, and you got the email address, confirm the email address and that you're going to send a home value update to them after that listing is sold. Right? Have a good conversation with them. Now, if you don't want to use the letter, and this is again for any listing, we do have postcards. You can see the front of the postcard there for my open house listing. And again, we got these for just listed, coming soon, active, as well as pending and just sold, which we'll get to in a minute. You can see there's the door hanger. It looks gorgeous. All my branding, my logo, my colors, automatically QR code. The text codes are on there. So again, different sizes, but absolutely beautiful. A couple of different versions there. There's another version, the EDDM Mega Postcard version 2. We got some flyers down here. We got there's quite a few different things here. So take a look at that if you want. And so again, every single listing has this. So circle prospecting, geo farming with a listing that's for sale. And again, with emphasis on open house, where you can do an open house. Now let's talk about pending and sold, because that is when sellers get excited. So when you're having an open house, that's great. But when a listing goes into contract, that is really when the messaging to the seller can take a lot more power, because that's what they want. It's great that you're marketing the property, but you're marketing the property to get that thing sold. And so once that listing goes into contract, now I really want to make sure that I am promoting that to my Geo Farm in both a kind of a Geo Farm circle prospecting manner. So let me show you that. And you're going to repeat, I would recommend you repeat the same thing for both pending. So whether you call that in contract, under contract, active, contingent, but repeat it once either as pending and again as just sold. And you can do it as listing or as the selling agent. So you can do this either representing the seller or representing the buyer. We saw Elena did that in success stories, where Elena, her buyer, was in contract. She went and took that. She did the letter at both pending and sold. And I think she actually got 2 listings from that. So here we go for a pending listing. If you need help getting your listing into your account that's pending, let our support team know, but click on market listing. Obviously, we're going to do all the marketing for this, but it is the nearby homeowner letter right there. Let me just show you. I'll get back to the letter, but let me just show you here. Just so you can see, we got postcards, door hanger. There is a circle prospecting script for this as well. So if I come back to the letter, and again, the thing I like about the letter here, it sits in the editor, and then I can come in here and I can go, I just want to let you know that 333 Main Court Rockland went pending, but you to close soon. Our 100+ point home marketing plan got over 50,000 views of this home in the last 23 days. Now, the only thing you always have to remember is we don't want to, this is formatted, so we can't blow out the, to a page 2. So it looks like I'm fine. And that's good because you don't want a page 2, right? We don't want this to be a full on novel. I'm going to download either again, JPEG or PDF. And so what I'm doing here for the pending listing, and you can do it again when the listing is just sold, is I just want to add in a little bit of color. Again, I don't want to blow it up and make this some crazy, essay that they got to spend 5 minutes on. Now, one thing you could do is when the listing is sold, if you're going to use a nearby homeowner letter, and I just thought of this on the fly here, maybe you attach, if you got a good story behind that sold listing, maybe attach a second page to it that is almost like a review of how you got that property sold. And in fact, if you look at my single property website here, which I'll show you in a second, that'll give you some more insight into that strategy. But anyways, here's the listing for the pending listing. And so again, I want you to be keeping in mind when it's our listing, if we can do this once while it's for sale. So again, just listed, coming soon, active or open house. And then we do it again when it's pending, right? Or any of those statuses, the in contract, active, contingent. And then we do the third time when it's just sold. And instead of doing it to like 500 homes, like most people do with that postcard, all you have to do is do it like most people do this to 100 or 200 homes max. Later on, Corey now does up to 400 to 500, but he's been doing it for probably 3 or 4 years. So he now has his process. He's got more ROI. He's got more money to spend because he's making more money. And so for him to do 400 to 500 is pretty easy. For most of you, doing 400 to 500 would absolutely kill you in every regard, right? In the beginning. So all you got to do is, do 100. You either use a mail house like Zaire Mail. And again, I've never used Zaire, but Dustin Fox uses this. And if you got his book, 6 Weeks to Real Estate Success, you'll see that in that book, he recommends this company here. Mailbox Power is also very popular. A lot of people use that. So if you have an account with them, you can use that letter. And then we got express copy. But again, the issue is I want to make sure that letter, whether you use a service or you do it yourself, I want that letter to look like it was hand addressed. Because again, that's going to make that conversion go from 25 maybe to like 75 or more. That's a 2 to 3x lift. And so again, I highly recommend getting it in an envelope that looks like it was hand done. So there's pending. And then let's go. No, we'll look at it just sold. So here's just sold. Again, market listing. I've got the nearby homeowner letter. Open up the editor. And now here I can say has sold. Maybe here I go above asking in 35 days with our 100+ point home. Right? You get it? And then I can also, because I'm a stickler for this, I'm kind of retentive. I'm just going to bring this down so that it says on the first line, I just want to know that 694 Douglas Boulevard in Folsom just sold. Above asking in 35 days with our 100% marketing plan. You get more information, boom, bada bing. Absolutely awesome. Now let me show you. When people scan that QR code, if you want to, go ahead and scan that QR code or send a text code to that. But when people go to my single property website, I got a little video about how I market properties. And notice how I changed the property description. So 694 Douglas, was I the selling agent or buyer's agent there? Give me 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, perfect. I'm the selling agent. So that makes sense. Okay. So for this listing, I was the selling agent. And so you can see here, I got 694 Douglas Boulevard, Folsom just sold. We represented the buyers and have 24 or more qualified buyers that want to buy a home in Folsom. Thinking about selling your home? So this is my single property website on a sold listing where I represented the buyer, and I tweaked that property description to represent the fact that A, I was a selling agent. B, I've got more buyers for homes in the area. C, I've got a 100% home marketing plan if you're looking to get your home sold. Do you think I will probably get more listings from that? Right. And so the beautiful thing about this is all of these tools, the ad, the post, the tools for the seller, everything points to that single property website. So I'm going to be generating leads through all of these tools. And even better, after I generate the lead and after they get to the single property website, they're going to get beautiful messaging, right? They're going to see that, wow, the home is sold. That's great. They got more qualified buyers. That's awesome. Now, way to be thinking about this. I want you could phrase this in a couple of different ways. Imagine you're a brand new agent and you got no buyers. Talk to your broker, talk to other agents in your office, find out if any of them have either buyers or qualified buyers, phrase it however you want. Maybe look in the MLS and you see, you know what? There are 200 saved searches for Folsom. Well, that's 200 buyers there. So don't lie. I'm never do that, right? Because you're going to get found out and people will not deal with you. But so when you just phrase it like there are 200 more buyers for homes in Folsom. Does that make sense for everybody? Because, they're going to ask you about it. So you want to make sure. But if you've got in your database, so maybe you got Follow Up Boss and you look in there and you see that you got 87 people that have Folsom as their area for where they want to buy, then you got 87 more buyers. So, but you get my idea about putting something there related to that so that these homeowners know, hey, there are actually buyers out there. Because homeowners are probably, if you ask the average home buyer or the homeowner, yeah, they know that there are specific people buying specific properties, but it doesn't really occur to them that, there actually are people out there right now that would buy your home if it was for sale. You see what I'm saying there? Does that make sense? What photo do you use? Amber, just go take a photo of you're going to be at the property at some point. So just take a photo of the property from the outside. You don't need any other photos. Excuse me. Just take one photo of the front of the house. I mean, if you want to take a couple, you could, but I don't think you need to. I think just one photo of the front is absolutely fine. Yeah. And then this video here, this is an old video of me doing a market report type of thing. So this is not, I should, right? It would be good. In fact, we also have another video. In fact, I posted that in the mastermind group yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that. I'll show it to you, but let me give this to everybody here. So I'm going to drop this under Amber's message, but I'm going to reply to all. So did everybody get that link? And then you're also going to see in my single property website automatically. So below the description, they can download my 100-point home marketing plan automatically. So all of you have this in your single property websites, whether it's your listing or not. I got a property video, got a 3D tour. Click around in here and go check out that house right in the single property website. If you're doing 3D tours, don't link out to the tour URL. get that tour into listings to leads. So let our support team know if you need help with that. You can literally just send them the code or the link or whatever, and they'll get it in there. All my professional photos, right? We talked a little bit earlier about that nearby homeowner letter. And so when people scan the QR code for the listing, this lead form is right there for them. So even if they don't go to the bottom one, they go to the top one, we got you covered. Sometimes you're going to see people downloading the PDF guide right from the single property website. So again, if I'm a homeowner, I can download your guide, 25 factors that impact their home value. Yes, yes. Boom, bada bing. And let me send you, before we go off into the next topic, let me send you the link for this single property website as well. And I'm sending you this one because this one's pending. And you can see here, and this will give you just some great idea for how to change out your quote unquote your property description once that listing goes pending or sold. And don't forget, if your buyer buys that property and you're the selling agent, you can do this too for that pending and sold. So get that out the door. Do it once as pending, do it once as just sold. And then again, obviously, if you're the listing agent, do it once while it's for sale. And if you don't have any listings and you want to take advantage of that strategy, do an open house for somebody. And lastly, you got the letters is the best thing to do. Door hanger would be number 2, postcard number 3. And if you can layer on the phone call using the circle prospecting script that we saw there, do that as well. Now, for best results, I would say in the beginning, try to do that twice a month. Try to do it twice a month. So meaning if it's an open house, I would do it, like 5 days apart, right? So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I would try to get the letter before the open house. And then I might do the post open house one, right? If it's not my listing. And if it is my listing, obviously I'm going to do it just as it's appropriate. So I'll do it once while the listing is for sale, again, pending, and then again, just sold. Now there might be a time between when you send out the open house or the just listed letter and the pending letter, or you might send all 3 and now have nothing to send because you don't have a listing in that immediate area yet. Or you may not have a listing and you need something. So if I go to the marketing calendar, there's a few ways of doing this, but the marketing calendar is a great one. Pretty much everything on this has Geo Farming Circle prospecting tools, almost everything, not everything yet. But so for example, and everything with a house icon is seller. So for the seller stuff. So here, let's see what I'm talking about. On Thursday, we have home value estimate invite funnel, investors, pennies on the dollar funnel. These are all for seller leads for homeowners. The 100% home marketing plan, iBuyer / cash offer. We've got expired. Obviously, we got the sold, pending, and the listing stuff that we've already talked about. And so let me show you here. If I go to tomorrow, right? Today's the 15th. In fact, let's talk today first. So PDF guide for seller. If I go to the marketing tools, you are going to see that we've got postcards, door hangers, got the QR code. So every PDF guide in your listings to leads account has these tools. So there's a postcard and door hanger. There are print flyers. And now again, if you take our open house mastery training, you're going to see where I talk about using these print flyers at your open house. Put them in a clear plastic flyer box. That way people coming through the open house, especially if you do a neighbor's preview, those neighbors or other homeowners can actually scan that QR code right at your open house and download that guide. So it's some other kind of cool strategies here. But my point is, you've got Geo Farm and Circle prospecting tools for your farm area with every single PDF guide in your account. And now you could also take the QR code and you could design your own postcard. So if you got like a postcard design template, you know what I'm talking about. Like you got you do your own stuff. Maybe you're using Canva to do your postcards, or you got another postcard editor, still take our QR code, take a look at the postcard. So, you got the name of the PDF guide. So in this case, the name of the guide is 25 factors. Design your own postcard, use our QR code on it so that you can still use your branding and whatever it is that you've got that you want to do, your custom work that you've already invested in, but use our QR code on it. And that way you can leverage all the tools with your custom marketing. But again, the print flyer, the farm and circle prospecting script. And so on the marketing calendar, every Wednesday, we rotate different seller and buyer guides. And so you can see in 2 weeks, it'll be the seller guide, 5 dangers of overpricing your home. And then 2 weeks later, it'll be a different guide. 2 weeks later, it's a different guide. So you're never going to run out of content for that one. And then on Thursdays, these are also seller focused funnels. So you're going to see here, home value invite. So this is what is your home worth? So again, go to marketing tools, postcards and door hangers. And I'll download front. Oh, sorry, I forgot to click the download button. Sometimes I'm just staring at the screen and let's see. Okay, great. Cool. Any questions? I was just checking. It looks like I'm good on the questions for the moment, but here's the front of that postcard. The image in the postcard will be whatever image is on the landing page itself. So completely customizable. It's really cool. So they got the QR code they can scan. The domain, everyone gets one of these free domains with listings to leads. If you're subscribed to our text service, God, I haven't tried this in so long. Does everybody see that text code? That 182, if anybody wants to try this, I'm going to try it right now while I'm on the call. Like, how awful is this? So if I text 888-264, and I've already got an old conversation going with that from, wow, that was a long time ago. 182-141. Yeah. Oh, so awesome. Yeah. It starts a whole text conversation. So it kind of goes through this whole conversation with people. So that text is really cool. And then they got the QR code, and that text can be used in a lot of different places. So you can use that text code in an email. You could use it other places. So if you got the listings to leads text service, you can set that up as well. Really cool. Anybody want to try that here? I'll put this in the GoToWebinar, and you can try it later at your convenience, because it's probably better to not do it while we're on the call. Otherwise, you're going to miss what we're talking about. But anyway, so this is a great postcard that you can send. And again, I'm just on the marketing calendar, right? So all the Wednesdays, the Thursdays, again, most of them, right? Whether it's a listing postcard letter, door hanger, the sold pending letter, postcard, door hanger, all the PDF guides have them. All the landing pages have them. So the 100% home marketing plan, I love this one. Again, go to marketing tools, go to postcard and door hanger. And again, there's the postcard for my 100% home marketing plan. Here's the back of it. Oh yeah, you see that text code on the back of that postcard? Here, let me download. I'll download the front. I'll download the back. We'll take a quick look at them. So there's the front. Oh, no, sorry. We're looking for the other one. Here we go. So there's the front. Here's the back. Below that, as you can see, we got that text code, 182-141, the URL. And then on the other side here, we got the QR code. And so if you scan that QR code, I think, God, I haven't scanned that in a while. Let me see here real quick. I got to get the angle. There we go. So yes. Oh, awesome. Yep. Get top dollar for your home with our 100% home marketing plan. Nice. And then you see there's a menu at the top. Oh, yeah. So this is going to the agent. Yep. Perfect. Nice. Anybody here want to scan that QR code real quick before I move off of it? Could you please share a script for marketing that you add? Priya, actually, I dropped in the links into the GoToWebinar control panel. So you'll see the links and you'll see the property. Just scroll down to the property description, and there you'll see the property description, you'll be able to tell like, wow, this is completely different from what you would do for the listing when it's on Zillow or Facebook and you're trying to get a buyer for it. You'll see that once that listing goes pending or sold, and I put the links already into the GoToWebinar control panel, but just check that out. And if you want, get in the mastermind group, and I can put a link in there as well. So maybe in the mastermind group, say, hey, can you put the links? And that way everybody will see them there. Awesome. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Let me close that. Beautiful postcard. And again, anytime I send out direct mail, print, door knock, door drop, whatever it is, for the people that I did not get a chance to talk to, we got a script. So again, I always recommend layer on the direct mail, the door knocking, whatever it is, with a phone call where you can. Please pay attention to the new rules and regulations coming up. The good thing is, do not call is always going to be a thing. Now, if they complete a lead form, the lead forms all have the proper language around them. So you're going to be good there. So when you generate leads, you're fine to call them, but you're not fine if you don't have the right language with it. I don't think you're ever allowed to use those auto dialers again, right? Starting on the 27th, I think that's going to be illegal, period. So I believe all calling has to be done with the cell phone, regardless if they're on the DNC or not, unless they specifically agreed to receiving autos. So anyways, I'm not a lawyer. Talk to your broker. But again, we do. In fact, let me show you right now, because I have had this question come up a few times. In your Listings to Leads account, in your profile, you're going to see a section under legal information. And we've had this for months. I mean, this is maybe since last year even. So TCPA consent, we got the default. So I can't speak to exactly what our default is. You can take a look at that later if you need to, but regardless, it's completely customizable. So we got GDPR, we got a lot. TCPA, we've got accessibility tools. So we've got all this stuff in there. So if you have any questions on that, let our support team know. Do you have Amber? Are you kidding me? Amber, you're killing me. I love it. Amber says, do you have any items for FSBO and Expired? Amber, I love that question. Yes, we do. We have got an entire FSBO and Expired module. In fact, I was talking to a client yesterday. He is using the FSBO marketing plan to go after a $10 million FSBO. There's a FSBO in his area, $10 million. And he's talked to the guy a couple of times. So they're in conversations. And when our client saw the plan, oh my God, he about flipped. So real quickly, if you go to landing pages, Amber, give me a location, a sales area that you've got. So Amber, drop in the name of a sales area. So I click create landing page. And this is, thank you for because this is part of the farm. Expireds are on your farm. What are you going to do? FSBOs on your farm. What are you going to do? So follow me here, because what I'm showing you for Expired, there is a very similar idea for the FSBO as well. So what I'm showing you here is Expired, but everything here is for FSBO also. So add landing page, Expired. See, there's FSBO, iBuyer, right? A lot of Expired. Amber, I don't need the actual address, so thank you for that, but I'm just going to put in the area. So Lighthouse Point, Florida, LA Lighthouse Point. I gotta say is Lighthouse Point. Let's just say that's the area name. It may or may not be, whatever, doesn't matter. So before I go too far down this path, notice the domain, right? And that's actually customizable. I can tweak that a little bit, but I got lighthousepo.excelleasy.com. First thing I might do after I see that is come and click on the domains tab, click edit, PO, and I'm going to change that to Lighthouse Point. If you want, Amber, ask me later. If you need that domain, I can delete it later. So there we go. Let's close that now. There we go. So now I got the domain, lighthousepoint.expiredsoldeasy.com. And I've got, I can edit the background image. I can edit all that text. I can edit the lead form, the autoresponder, domains we looked at. I got all my pixels, a few different preferences here, including tags, CRM, lead source. Go to the marketing tools. You got the Facebook ad. Did not sell your lighthouse point home. Google ad. And now you could get a custom audience of all of the expired for the last year, let's just say, or last 3 months. It's got to be 1,000 people for a custom audience. You could do a list of all the homeowners plus all the expireds, combine those together into one list. Maybe that can make it big enough for you for a custom audience on Facebook and Instagram, Google ads, social media post. Oh, we're getting to the postcards and door hangers. We got the good stuff coming. Don't worry about that. We got a short form video script, which I highly recommend that you do. We got an e-flyer. Now, you're not going to send this e-flyer to your database per se. You could, and this will actually, these images are refreshing. So this will say Lighthouse Point, right? So when I click on edit or send, you'll see Lighthouse Point, right? Image, right? And the image, again, if I change the image on the landing page, the image here will change as well. You got a script to call the expired, print flyer. So again, and here's what I recommend. And again, that print flyer, if I click download PDF, check this out. This print flyer will have that domain on it with the QR code pointing to that landing page. Point.expiredsoldeasy.com. So Amber, are you impressed? If you're not, let me know. I'll be surprised if you're not, but hopefully you are. And postcard and door hanger. Again, notice the domain. I got JPEG and PDF. The front. And again, the image on the postcard will change to whatever is on the landing page. So you can make it specific to a particular property, or it could be like an area photo of the neighborhood. But dude, come on, you're killing me, right? Lighthouse Point. If I'm expired in Lighthouse Point, who do you think I'm going to be going with? Like, you still got to do the phone call, right? She's got Vulcan 7, so absolutely brilliant. I love it, Amber. So integrate this stuff into what you're doing. So for example, when you're calling them up and you say, hey, I know you're going to hate me. I'm a real estate agent. Do you have 30 seconds for me to explain why I'm calling? And they laugh and they say, sure, go ahead. What do you got? And you drop during that conversation the fact that you want to invite them to a review, and that you at lighthousepoint.expiredsoldeasy.com, or after your phone call, you send them that link. They're going to be like, holy crap, man, who is this person? And so I'm sorry, back to my point. You can either download and then upload as part of an automation in something like Mailbox Power. So, you can download these, upload them, add them to an automation. And then, in fact, let me show you in the mastermind group something. But real quickly, also, Amber, you haven't seen nothing yet, because we have you seen the listing presentations? Let me type expired. So that 26 page. So if you've got a particular expired, and again, same with FSBO, same with the standard listing presentation, the complete marketing plan to get your expired home sold. And it will actually have the name, the seller's name on there as well. This might be kind of an old one. Yeah, this is an old, yeah, let me grab a newer copy. That was from when we were first coming up with this. And yep, there we go. Okay, perfect. So I can add that expired home to my listings to leads account as status expired. And so there you go. Yeah. Prepared for, there's the seller's name, the home property address. This is their listing or their home. 15, even page 14, but page 15 in particular. So I'm gonna scroll. So look at it. Every single image on here is of their property. So that's their home that they're looking at. And this is your 100-point home marketing plan. Look at that. Social media stuff, the e-flyers. And I'm on page, look at that. Oh my God, is that beautiful? The single property websites and virtual tours, sign writers. And now here's the kicker. When you scan that QR code, they're going to be looking at the exact same thing that they're looking at on this paper. It is absolutely awesome. And you get this for both expired and FSBO. And so how you do that, and there's a FSBO landing page, very similar to the expired. Obviously it's going after FSBO. And the last thing here before I let everybody go, thank you all for staying with me for the hour. So add listing, manual. So you're gonna have to, obviously you have to, it's not going to be in the MLS. Under listing information. Oh, and the real cool thing is we got flip books coming early next week for these PDFs. So if you use the status listing presentation or scroll down to for sale by owner or for sale by owner draft, and lastly, expired. So any one of those 4 statuses, listing presentation, such as standard listing presentation, FSBO or FSBO draft, so the for sale by owner, and expired. And what you do is you just add the name, their email address, the phone number. All you got to do is put in the city, street, city, state, zip code. If you want to throw in something for the property description, you can. Click save and add photos, add 1 or more photos that you got. 1 photo is all you need. That's all we're going to use. And then that will create that presentation, and then to find it. So for example, listing presentation, expired, for sale by owner, all 3 of these, just click the address and you're going to see it says download listing presentation. All right. So if I go back to my FSBO, for sale by owner, click on the address, download presentation. So these presentations will have the homeowner's name if you entered it. They will have the homeowner's address if you put it, and they're going to use the photo of the property if you added that as well. Yes, this training was recorded. It will be put onto the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, find Listings to Leads. Or if you're on your browser, just go to youtube.com/listings to leads. Also, let me show you real quickly before we depart for the day. If you go to the marketing calendar, presentations, there's an intro, and there's real estate or open house mastery. Cannot recommend this enough. If you master this, you will master your career and you're going to be off and running. You will never look back. And then for resources, YouTube channel right here, Instagram, I highly recommend. Get yourself into the mastermind group and some other options down there as well. Everybody good to go? Everybody go out and get some business. Catherine, thank you so much. Amber, awesome. Connor, Priya, love it, love it, love it. If there's nothing else, get into the mastermind group later. Let me know how you're doing. Ask me a question if you got one. And let our support team know, though, if you need something specific they can help you with. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. And if I don't see you before Monday, hopefully I'll see you then.